Washington Football Live on a Tuesday. The conditions are really nice. You see a good little breeze coming in. The sun is out, so the team is behind us practicing. A couple of moves, though, that were made over the weekend coming in here. Cody Latimer, they waived him. Of course, he got to trouble law, was on the commissioner's exempt list. Yeah. The team decided that they needed to move forward from him. He was brought in hopefully to add a little bit of depth and experience into that wide receiver room. And then Thaddeus Moss was waived as well. He's been dealing with an injury, and coach said he's never really fully to be able to commit or to be able to be out there in practice doing what he wants fully. And so it's just going to hold him back. They want to make sure that he gets healthy. So.
Yeah, it sucks for both of those guys, especially Thaddeus, and we had high hopes too for Latimer, but dealing with his circumstances, we understood it was going to be difficult. But with Thaddeus, you just wanted to see this guy have a chance, and hopefully if he can get over that injury, maybe he could come back and be on the IR or be on the practice squad. So we all pulling for him.
Be like a redshirt freshman year, basically. See if he can come back next season and contribute. Moving over to the running back room now. We're talking about how it's going to shape up. You kind of can't help but get excited because Adrian Peterson is still out there doing what he does at his age. You bring in a couple other players. You have J.D. McKissick, Peyton Barber, Bryce Love. But according to Cynthia Freeland,
I believe it's Freeland.
32nd in the league is what she says that they are going to be this season. So she has absolutely zero faith in the run game for them. Are you thinking? I mean, all right, they may struggle. And you have to take into factor the offensive line. The offensive line may struggle, but does that mean they're 32nd?
As a player, I'm sure those guys, if this was brought up to them, they were like, okay, that's her opinion, and she get paid to do what she do because that's what she does. They have the last say-so of that. I scratch my head thinking about it because you have a guy like AP, you have other veterans on the team, Barber and McKissick, so you question that, saying, hey, with this veteran leadership, this should allow us at least be somewhere in the middle of the pack. I understand a lot of those things that I do believe where she gets that 32nd rating would be not particularly just on the running backs. I think she's looking at the guys in front also. So that leads me to question: is she questioning the running backs as a whole, or is she questioning the front line and the backfield? So that would be something that I would question why she come up with that particular rating.
And you do have Antonio Gibson. Now, whether or not he's able and ready to contribute on week one, I think is a little bit of a question mark. But I do believe by everything that we've seen and heard and seen from him, he could very well be their best back on the team once you get into the flow, into the rhythm. But Adrian Peterson is the oldest, the wisest, the future Hall of Famer, and he addressed how the RB room looks.
As far as the offense, I feel like the offense is, it's something that I'm really excited about. A lot of guys are excited about what they're asking us to do. We have some big roles in this offense. Being able to, spread our defense out and throw different looks. Really make it challenging for a defense to stop us. And I feel like with our skill set, the receiver position, the tight end position, quarterback, running backs, offensive line is looking good and shaping up as well. And, this running back room is incredible. We have so much talent, from, Antonio Gibson to JD to Peyton to Bryce. Like, all these guys are unique in their own way. And, just being out here and seeing them go through this offense where it presents opportunities for the running back to make plays, and sometimes having a couple of us out there on the field at the same time it's exciting to see. I'm just looking forward to here the next 3.5 weeks to get out there against someone that that we don't see every day and see how things look.
And the O's are presented by Fedex as we go deeper into the running back room. Like Adrian Peterson, first off, is always going to encourage and build up the players that he has in that room with him. That's what you'd expect of a leader. But if you were in that room, you've even heard some guys say, like, Antonio Gibson, like, I can't believe I'm sitting next to Adrian Peterson and I'm being able to learn from him. The wisdom that you can get from somebody who's been able to do it consistently year in and year out.
I mean, it pays dividends, especially for those young guys. And, you don't even have to be a guy that's getting a lot of, back and forth from that guy. Just watching him do his due. I've been a guy, I told you before, I usually led by example. But when I saw something that should have been done differently, I was eager to get over there and give that guy an earful, because I understand that regardless of how long I'm here, you know, you're going to have to do this by yourself, and you're going to need that because I got it, you know. So therefore, I'm pretty sure that Adrian is sharing a lot of those gems with those guys, and it's only going to make that room better as a whole.
You know, Coach pointed out him when I told you earlier in the day or in the show that Coach went off after one of the practices saying that they weren't doing good enough. He pointed out Adrian Peterson specifically and Thomas Davis Sr. on, if you want to know what it takes to be in this league, look at the examples that those two are setting. They're the vets on this team. They've been doing it for 16 and 14 years, and this is an opportunity for a lot of the younger guys to step up. Are they going to take it? What kind of an impact does Adrian Peterson have, though, if he doesn't have the ball in his hand?
Well, I think the impact he can show is just how, you know, he's handling his business, you know, watching and being that guy that's supporting brother or that supporting teammate. You know, we're not always graded by what we do in between the lines when we have the ball. You know, a lot of the times people watching what we do when we're the decoy and when we're the guy on the sideline, and I think that's something that a veteran can show the younger guys how to take on their role. You know, folks fail to realize you don't always have to be the guy. You know, if you understand your role and understand when you're going to be needed, and you take on that role and do what's needed, then you can allow or help your team get to where they're trying to go. So I think all that could come into play, and these guys could just watch that and then say, hey, this is what I need to follow. Trust me, like I said before, I was a guy that followed a lot of guys. They didn't know I was following them, but I watched them, and I was a sponge, and I soaked it up. So I'm pretty sure these guys doing the same thing.
One of those guys that is watching what Adrian does and how he does it is Bryce Love, as he spent his rookie season coming back from injury, but is trying now to make an impression to say that he wants to spot having an impact on the offense. Here's Love.
AP, you know, AP is AP. You know, one of the biggest things with AP is, you know, for how great he is, of course, and all the accomplishments and accolades is, you know, how, you know, cool and down to earth he actually is. And I mean, beyond that, you could say how he approaches week in and week out, you know, how he approaches that and takes care of his body. You know, I've gotten a lot of different exercises from him, used different tools, you know, that he's put me on, and different things like that. And Chris Thompson, the same kind of thing, you know, seeing how he takes care of himself and how beloved, you know, he is in this building and still is. You know, all those different things. You know, it's just so many different things that they brought to the level of showing what it meant to be a pro. And, you know, absorbing that in and taking it and applying it to myself.
Taking a look at where our running back room is. Early on, I had once asked how many running backs would they carry, and they said it could potentially be 5, depending how they use Antonio Gibson, if he's in the running back room or the receiving room. But we've talked with him, and he's since then spending most of his time in the running back room.
Yeah.
So there's going to be an odd man out here,
Yeah.
Santana.
I can't quite tell you who's the guy. I mean, there's so many guys that I have in mind right now, but I would tell you my opinion, and just you know, hey, trust me, the players have the last say so, but Barber stands out to me when it comes to just what, you know, him and AP competing for the same role. I think both of those guys have the same intangibles, and when you look at all the other guys, they kind of make up what the coaches want to be their running back core. You know, these guys can do many things out the backfield and also be great in third down. So that would be the guy I'm leaning on, or I'm not going to say I want to see him out, but I know, like I said before, the players have the last say so.
All right, well, it's
Did you get
still
again?
apparently it's going out like a bug came in, something to get my protein.
Behind our glass.
Well, look, it's going to be interesting because it still is relatively early in camp. There still is an opportunity for some of these guys to prove it. But yeah, if somebody's left out, you have to just question, like, what does Barber have compared to Adrian?
Yeah.
What does McKissick have compared to Love? And Antonio Gibson, they put too much into him this season. If he's
a
healthy,
Swiss
he's ready
Army
to go. So we'll keep a close eye on this as the running back room does shape up as we go through camp.